We're going to cross an entire country using only public transportation. That means no flying, no taxis, no ride-sharing services. We're talking trains, buses, subways, ferries, trams, funiculars, maybe even a bike or two. It all depends on how much time we have. Now, this isn't my first rodeo. I've crossed continents by train before, and I even have a video about that. So this time, I wanted to push myself a bit further. And in North America, there's really only one option for a journey like this: the USA. So here's how I did it. I flew into San Diego because it's a city with both an airport and a train station. Flying into a city with both of these is key because you want to be able to take public transportation from the airport into the city center. Now, I could have taken the train all the way across the country, but the journey would have taken 4 days. And while I love trains, I don't think I could sit on one for 4 days straight. There are also parts of the USA where there just isn't a train, so we'll need to use other forms of public transportation too. My first stop was Old Town, which is right next to the San Diego downtown. It's a touristy place full of Mexican food and tequila and everything that comes along with it. I wandered around the different shops and markets until it was time to catch the Amtrak train to Los Angeles. This is the start of the Southwest Chief route, which takes you all the way to Chicago. I got on board, and within minutes the train pulled out of the station. The first leg of the journey took me through the suburbs of San Diego. Then, as the train picked up speed, the scenery started to change. Rolling hills turned into rugged mountains. The train climbed higher and higher until we finally reached our destination, Los Angeles. My journey so far has been smooth, comfortable, and most importantly, relaxing. You can't beat the feeling of sitting back and watching the world go by, while someone else does all the work. Los Angeles isn't a city you want to explore on foot. It's sprawling, hot, and pretty dangerous. Thankfully, LA's public transportation system is one of the best in the country. I took the Metrolink train from Union Station to the Santa Ana stop, then transferred to the Metro Red Line subway to get downtown. As I traveled around the city, I realized that LA is truly a city of extremes. There's incredible wealth here, but also extreme poverty. Skyscrapers are just feet away from homeless encampments. After exploring LA for a few days, it was time to head east. To get to Las Vegas, my options were limited. There is a bus route that runs between the two cities, but there wasn't any dates available. So I had to go with Plan B, a 6-hour drive with a stranger. In the end, it worked out perfectly. Not only did I save money, but I also learned a lot about the area from my driver, who was a local. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, keep in mind that sometimes the journey is just as important as the destination. When I arrived in Las Vegas, I knew I needed to take a break from driving. The bright lights and non-stop action of the Vegas Strip can be overwhelming, but it's also impossible not to have fun here. I spent a few days checking out the different casinos, shows, and of course, the famous fountains at Bellagio. If you're ever in Vegas, I highly recommend seeing a show. The city is home to some of the best entertainment in the world. I saw the Beatles' Love at the Mirage, and it was absolutely amazing, but it was time to move on. And since there was no train or bus to my next stop, I hit the road again. This time with a new friend I met in Vegas. The drive to the Grand Canyon was long, but the scenery was worth it. The vastness of the desert never gets old, and the peace and quiet is exactly what I needed after the hustle and bustle of LA and Vegas. If you have the chance to visit the Grand Canyon, do it. It's one of the natural wonders of the world for a reason. The views are simply breathtaking. My next stop was Flagstaff, Arizona, a small town near the Grand Canyon. From there, I caught the Grand Canyon Railway, a historic train that takes you all the way to Williams. The train ride itself is an experience, but the journey from Flagstaff to Williams is just a small part of the adventure. What really makes the Grand Canyon Railway special is what happens when you arrive in Williams. The town is filled with shops, restaurants, and of course lots of trains. It's a perfect place to relax and soak up the small town western feel. And if you're lucky, you might even see a bear or two. I explored Williams for a few hours before catching the train back to Flagstaff. From there, it was a short drive to my next stop, Albuquerque, New Mexico. The journey through the desert was once again both beautiful and peaceful. And when I arrived in Albuquerque, I could see why it's often called the most underrated city in the USA. The people are friendly, the food is amazing, and the scenery is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I spent a few days checking out the different neighborhoods and soaking up the unique atmosphere of the city. My first stop was Santa Fe, a historic city that dates back to the 1600s. From there, I took the train to Denver, Colorado. The journey through the Rocky Mountains was truly breathtaking, and I could unbelieve how lucky I was to be experiencing it. When I arrived in Denver, I knew I had to take a break from traveling. I spent a few days checking out the city, including the famous 16th Street Mall and Red Rocks Amphitheater. But it was time to head east. My next stop was Kansas City, Missouri, a city known for its barbecue and jazz music. I spent a few hours checking out the city before catching the train to Chicago. The journey was long, but the scenery changed from the Rocky Mountains to the Great Plains. When I arrived in Chicago, I knew I had made it. I'd crossed an entire continent using only public transportation. The journey was challenging, but also incredibly rewarding. I saw some of the most beautiful parts of the United States and experienced small-town America like I never had before. If you're looking for an adventure, I highly recommend trying something like this. You don't have to go across an entire country, but even a short journey can be life-changing. I'm already planning my next trip, and I can't wait to share it with you. That brings us to the end of our journey. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me as I crossed an entire country using only public transportation. Let me know in the comments below if you have any tips for crossing another country using only public transportation. What city should I start in? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing travel experiences. And check out the links in the description for cheap flights, hotels, cars, and more.